All right, it just hit Friday's injury report for the Detroit Lions. We're going to dive into that and a few other topics. I know a number of you have asked me for some thoughts on Sheila Ford talking a few days ago. I didn't think it was a big issue, but I wanted to go ahead and address it. So we'll dive into all these things and maybe just a little bit more in today's abbreviated version of Lions Talk Live. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again. It is Friday, just a couple days before the Lions face the Miami Dolphins in Detroit. And I want to invite everybody to welcome you to today's version of Lions Talk Live. We're going to dive into a couple of the topics we mentioned in the intro, but I do want to say thank you to everybody. As of today, we've hit 130 subscribers. Remember, just a week ago, we were just at 100, so I want to thank everybody who's taken the time out of their day to go ahead and subscribe, support the channel. A lot of you have left some likes, some commentary, especially on yesterday's video. We had a lot of good exchanges going on. So if you haven't yet subscribed, pretty please, go ahead, consider subscribing. If you're enjoying the content, go ahead and leave a thumbs up and maybe even turn on the notification bell so you'll get all the information as it hits. So let's go ahead and jump into today's topics. All right, just before 4 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time, Lions have, of course, put out their injury updates. We got some guys in, some guys out, but the big notable ones are that Jonah Jackson had a bit of practice. I thought he was being held out a little bit this week because of the finger. It turns out it was a neck issue, and he did participate somewhat. The other ones, probably the bigger ones, are that St. Brown and DeAndre Swift were full participants today. So I'm going to go ahead and guess, based on that, we'll see both of them hit the field Sunday, unless they just happen to fall on some slippery slopes or whatever tomorrow, Saturday, then we should expect all of them. Now, here's the good of that. As I'm sure everybody remembers last year, 2021, the first, we'll say 10 games of the season, our offense was less than good. In fact, it was rather offensive. But after that, we saw the emergence of St. Brown in the passing game. Swift started performing in the running game a little bit better. And then, of course, the other part of that is Jared Goff. Jared Goff is always kind of a lightning rod for Lions fans. But I'll put it to you this way. During those last several games of 2021, you've heard me talk about it. I'm sure you all watched it happen. He played like the number 4 quarterback, at least statistically, in all the NFL. The first several games of this year, when he had at least the majority of those weapons out there, the team played very, very well, obviously setting an NFL record in the first 4 games for most points scored. Since those guys have all gone out, injuries have hobbled others. You've seen a lot of lack of consistency, I guess we could say, out of Goff and the offense overall. So perhaps with Swift back, Josh Reynolds apparently fully healthy, and now St. Brown back to full health, maybe the offense we saw at the start of the year will emerge, along with hopefully an improving defense. So good things could be right around the corner. Thumbnail as well. Haloti Ngata is probably not going to play the rest of this year. We put him up in the thumbnail just to go ahead and let everybody know, hey, we're going to talk about him today. And Dan Campbell, during the Friday presser, addressed the recovery he's gone through so far on the bad back. It's looking more like he's going to join Levi Onwuzurike as far as not playing the rest of the year. I know having back issues are no fun, let alone if you're a 300-plus pound human being. You're probably going to have some struggles with it. It's unfortunate because I think all the fans in Detroit really wanted to see last year and this year what that offensive line could have been if we could have got all 5 starters on the field at the same time. But for the second straight year, that looks like it's not going to happen. So time for the Lions probably to move on from him, but we'll let the GM handle that at the end of the season. I would suspect that this will probably end his time in Detroit, though. Now going on to what a lot of you asked just for some thoughts on Sheila Ford. Unlike her predecessors and her family, she's willing to talk at least, for a couple of minutes this week to media. I don't think she really said anything groundbreaking. What do you expect her to say? Hey, I'm unhappy. I'm going to axe everybody. Everybody's got to go. Fire everybody. While I'm sure there's a number of fans that would love her to come out and say that, at the same point, you now would have to start rebuilding once again, and only a year and a half into the Dan Campbell era. I will say this. I do think it is a subtle way for her to kind of offer support for Campbell, but also kind of put him on notice that this isn't going to be acceptable for much longer. So Campbell more or less kind of reiterated that in his commentary today. If you watch the presser, he said, hey, it was nice to get the support from Hamp, but he understands that he needs to get wins. Otherwise, he's not going to be here very long. All right, well, I'm not going to make this video very long today. There's not a lot of huge news as normal on a Friday. There's been some speculation that Lions trades this and that, but to me at this point in the season, I think it's just speculation. Do I think they should move on from TJ Hutchinson? I guess it depends on what you can get. But whatever it is, I hope you all enjoy your Fridays. Won't have a show tomorrow. As per normal, we usually don't do a show on Saturday, but we will have a show Sunday after the game. So if you want, go ahead and feel free to chime in with that. If you have any questions you want me to address in that post-game show, go ahead and throw them into this video or another video. I'm sure I'll see them. And I want to thank you all again for subscribing, helping the channel grow. And I hope you have all a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday.